Yes, guys, welcome to the Game Week 4 Deadline Live. I am actually 4 minutes early. Can you believe it? I am always the guy that is late to his own live stream, so it's so good to actually be live ahead of the time and more opportunity for me to answer your Game Week 4 questions. So let me know if you are in the chat. Go say hello and obviously ask me any of your Game Week 4 questions so I can answer them throughout this entire live stream. Now, the plan is to be on here for the next hour. I know that's not up until the deadline, but we need to remember it's Luton versus West Ham. If we do get any sort of early team news, realistically, it's not going to impact a lot of people at all. It isn't like it's Man City playing or anything like that, or Chelsea. So this is your opportunity for the next hour to really go in depth and ask me any particular questions that you have. Obviously, there are a lot of big content creators live right now. If you have stumbled across this one, perfect opportunity to really go into depth on your questions. All I ask is if you could drop a like on the stream. It is massively appreciated. And if you're new around here, it will be so sick to have you as a subscriber. We're aiming for 10k before the Game Week 4 deadline. Now, we have about 2 hours to get about 600 subscribers. I don't fancy my chances, but if you are new around here, you enjoy the stream, it'd be so good to have you as a new subscriber going into the international break, because going forward, things are only going to ramp up on this channel. So I can see some usual faces already. Madrid fan, hope you're doing well. Joel, hope you're doing well. Dave Lister, hope you're doing well, buddy. Once again, guys, in this chat, I am based in the chat, in this live stream, I'm just going to be answering all of your questions and importantly, revealing my current team, because I've actually made a transfer. I done one about 5 minutes ago. I was umming and ahhing what to do with Martinelli, but I pulled the trigger and I will reveal that in a minute. And it's worth noting, currently sat here with still Gabriel, and I have a few interesting thoughts about Gabriel, what to do going forward. So I will discuss those during this stream. So look, without further ado, let's get cracking into some of these questions. So I see there are a lot in here. So sick to have you guys about. So I've played the game. What a name that is. My team's looking shaky, but I'm going to have to take it. Hopefully it does pay off for you, buddy. Nacho, Gary Lawless, hope you're doing well, mate. Joshua, Shaw replacements, please. I have Saliba, Estupinan, Chilwell, Udogie already. Okay, so you're covered off quite well. You got the Arsenal investment, which you could look to keep long term. Estupinan is just a top player in general, great value. Chilwell, obviously, we know is a fantastic pick, and Udogie as well. So, realistically, the option for you right now is getting an understanding of how much you want to actually invest in your player. Now, you could go for someone like a Trippier, for example, and have that as your premium asset from this game week and beyond. I'm not against that sort of move at all. The other route you could go for is go for someone like a Rico Henry or a Man City option who's at a slightly cheaper price. Now, as I said, if it's just a Luke Shaw sideways move, I believe you have around 5.5 million. You could just go to Ruben Diaz. It's worth noting there's a lot of rumours going around right now that Gavardiol is not going to be playing for Man City this weekend due to some of the predicted lineups out there. I'm just going off their basis. So I wouldn't be buying Gavardiol this week. So realistically, Josh, it's all about kind of what direction you want to go in. The steady clean sheet points of Diaz, the potential attacking returns clean sheet of Henry, or you go for the real upside picking Trippier, who is a major differential, but obviously a real premium. Joe up the Luton town. I'm looking forward to seeing how Luton get on. Realistically, they need to make sure that home ground is an absolute fortress, because otherwise they got no chance, I believe. I apologise if you're a Luton fan. Dave saying Man City vs Fulham, will Doku play? Okay, so there's a lot of predicted lineups going around right now, and it sounds like Doku is going to get a start. Should you buy him? Absolutely not. I would not even go near him right now. But it's worth noting, I think this is both an exciting thing for Foden and also a little bit daunting. So the good thing about this is that Foden is going to be playing in a pretty attacking team, it sounds like, because it's worth noting these predicted lineups do have Phil Foden in it as well, alongside Alvarez. So I honestly think we're in a position right now against Fulham where Polina, if you don't know, has moved to Bayern Munich. Honestly, if there was a fixture that's going to be 5 or 6-0, it's going to be Man City against Fulham this weekend. They're going to really struggle to adjust with the centre-back injuries that they do have. Polina missing. Why am I talking? I'm actually literally convincing myself to go Foden right now. I need to stop. Regardless, Foden is a fantastic pick this game week in isolation. Now, long term, the thing I have a little bit of question marks about is Doku into the team, Matheus Nunes coming into the team. Is how is he going to fit all of these players into the side without impacting the minutes of someone like a Phil Foden? That's my main question mark right now. But look, I think Phil Foden is a great pickup, and Doku is one I'd avoid right now. Zombie saying, "Hi mate, if you could just if you could own either Sterling or Rashford until you wildcard, who would it be? Well, I'll be looking to wildcard around game week 9 because we have the 2-week international break beforehand. We've got 8 game weeks worth of information. And importantly, as long as Mo Salah doesn't leave to one of these Saudi clubs, we will see a big fixture turn for Liverpool in game week 9 where, honestly, the fixtures are as good as they can get. They have 3 out of the 4 home games against some of the worst teams in the league. And I think we're all going to want triple Liverpool. So what a good opportunity it would be to play a wildcard in game week 9 and bring in those Liverpool players with ease without taking any major points hits. Now, which would I prefer between Sterling and Rashford? I'd actually controversially still lean towards Rashford. I think Sterling is a brilliant pickup this week, but I think the fixture is a little bit mixed, to be honest with you, Chelsea. And I'm very conscious that they've only played Luton. I don't know how they're going to get on. I still think Chelsea struggle to create chances, and that's coming from a Chelsea fan right now. Turner or Nana? Realistically, it probably is Turner. Alex, hope you're doing well, mate. Dropped a like. Thank you guys for dropping a like on the chat, on the stream. Sorry, make sure you do drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. As always, we try and aim for 50 likes each stream. If you can get it to that would just be absolutely sick. And as always, I will be revealing my transfers in a bit. Doing well, Madrid, doing well. Gary, would you consider Anderson as a replacement for Kanji? He's definitely a good option, and he's a bit of a bonus point magnet as well, it's worth noting. Does get his fair share of goals from set pieces. I just don't get excited by it. And sometimes I want that excitement when I'm picking up a player. Now, obviously, with like a sensible head, Palace do have some really good defensive fixtures, so I wouldn't put it past bringing in Anderson, but it just doesn't excite me, really. Jack saying Saliba or Estupinan to play this week. I would go to Estupinan because I expect both to concede, but we know Estupinan has that potential for attack and returns and those major hauls. By the way, how tiny is this mug? It's outrageous. Tom, good to hear. Love your content. Thank you, buddy. Should I start Watkins or Eze? Wow. Okay, so a couple of thought processes here. First and foremost, Villa at home against Wolves. Eze the main man. On penalties, very unfortunate not to get any points right now. I would hate you to bench him. On the flip side, Watkins, I would argue, has a tougher fixture away against Liverpool. Brought in Endo, so they might be a bit more secure in the midfield, tougher to break down. But no Kanate or Van Dijk. A team that plays a high line who are going to get exploited by pace like Diaby and Watkins. So, look, I think both players could do phenomenally well this week. The fact that Eze's on penalties is the only thing that's going to sway it to me. Extra point for a clean sheet, extra point for a goal on penalties. I would say Eze, but honestly, both could do fantastic. So you're in a bit of a sticky spot there. Ramsdale or Areola? I would lean towards Areola. Against Luton. Absolutely Areola. Oliver, should I transfer out Rashford for Maddison so I have enough funds to do Pedro out for Jackson? I have 2 free transfers. Oliver, I hate selling Rashford. I can't lie. But I do like the move, especially if you still have Bruno Fernandes in your team. But look, we need to remember, people that we're bringing in are popular assets, but the players we're selling are no mugs. These are good players. So we can't have the best of both worlds. We just have to hope that the combinations we go for do deliver and make up for any potential points hits along the way. So I like the move personally. Could Rashford do well this week? Absolutely. And the week after. But I think it balances your squad a bit better, especially getting rid of someone like João Pedro, who's clearly a rotation risk. Sorry, I just need a little quick Wasser. I'm going to put a poll in as well, just to make sure we get a bit of interaction with the chat. I'm learning these things, obviously. Right, so first up, I need you guys to let me know, because I'm going to reveal my transfer in a minute. It's worth noting. And basically, the direction that this poll goes is going to kind of dictate my mood, really. So, best midfielder to buy. This is obviously for game week 4. Foden, big dog Foden. Maddison. Sterling, holy moly. Is there another? Let's put in Buemo in there as a bit of a controversial one. Right. Poll is in there right now. Go vote for it. This is hypothetically speaking. Let's say you're sat there with Martinelli. Let's say there's a good-looking blonde, brown-haired guy who has Martinelli in his team and he's considering selling it for a player. Obviously, I was describing myself there. I do apologise. No, I'm joking. So let me know in the poll right now who you would go for. Let me just check this out a minute. Just rejigging this round so we have the optimal experience for everyone. Right. Apologies, I'm ill. Should I stay with Ruben Diaz or get a different City defender? No, you have the best one. Do not make any moves right now on that one. Saliba or Estupinan. Should I start Sterling or Odegaard? Sterling. You cannot bench Sterling at home against Nottingham Forest. Everybody's buying him. You absolutely should be playing him. And captaincy? No, don't captain. I'm joking. Jack, Saliba or Estupinan? I've covered that one off. Madrid, I'm leaning towards getting Henry, mate, for Gabriel. Do not mind Rico Henry at all. Brentford's fixtures between now and when a lot of people will wildcard in game week 9 are really, really solid. And one would argue as well that they offer both clean sheet potential and attacking potential. So I like Henry. I will discuss my thoughts on him in a bit when I come into my team. I just want to get a big chunk of this out the way. And as always, if I don't answer your chat, I really do apologise. I do try and get to all of them as I can. Obviously, for anyone who's interested, I do have a Patreon where I get to answer all your questions one-to-one. Link is in the bio if you do want to check that out. DNZR23. Who do I swap Gabriel for? It can't be Udogie, Chilwell, Gusto, or Estupinan. So it comes down to how much money you have available to you. There's 3 avenues I would go for. Either Ruben Diaz at Man City, the steady Eddie, 6 or 2 points, but you're getting what I would say, quote unquote, guaranteed clean sheets in a manner as they come in FPL. Next up, you go for the Rico Henry route. You go for the one that offers a slightly more attacking potential and also clean sheet potential. Or you go for the big dog. Kieran Trippier doesn't look the greatest this week, but long-term looks fantastic. Injury to Botman should be fine after the international break, so their defence should be back to normality. Could Livramento step in from time to time? Maybe. But I think Trippier's game time is pretty locked in until the Champions League comes around. So which one will I go for? Depends how much money you have available, so you have to let me know in the chat on that one. Geordie in the chat. Should I add Ansu Fati straight into my team? No. Do not add him into your team, but what a baller he will be, but do not put him in your chat right now. Eric, what transfers have you made? I'm going to come on to that in a minute, Eric. George, who you bring in? Going to cover that in a minute. Chazza, is it worth transferring out Onana? Look, it's a tricky one. It's such a luxury transfer. If you're in a position right now where you have 2 free transfers, you don't need to make any other, then yes, selling Onana is definitely a viable move. You either go down to Flecken at Brentford or you just go sideways to someone like an Edison at 5.5 million if you have that cash in the bank. Is it worth? I've covered that one. Thoughts on a New Forest goalkeeper? Yes, it could be a risk for Matt Turner. And another reason why, if you do own Pickford right now and you have no transfers you want to make, maybe selling Pickford will be the right move just because Matt Turner could be a risk later down the line. Opinions on Darwin. I put him in my bust team. Now, anyone that doesn't know, it's kind of like a zombie team. It's where you build a team at the start of the season and you leave it and you don't touch it. And I had Darwin in there because I do think between now and the end of the season, he will be a phenomenal FPL option. It's just getting that game time. When will Klopp wake up and realise that he should be starting in, week out? The team is built for him. They've got the technicians in the centre mid now. They don't need Firmino to come in. The only reason Firmino dropped in back in the day is because they played bloody Henderson and all in midfield and they had nobody who could actually get on the ball and link the play. Now they've got Soberside. Now they've got McAllister. Now they've got these technicians. They just need an absolute athlete up there to stretch the game and give them opportunities to create opportunities for him. Get Darwin Núñez in the team, but don't buy him in FPL, unfortunately. Triple captain Haaland. Look, triple captain this season is a little bit different. So Man City are going to blank, I believe, in game week 18 because of some sort of Super Cup. So we will probably get a double game week for Man City unless they rearrange that game like a few days later. So there's a chance we will get a double game week later on for Man City. That is enough for a reason probably to hesitate on using your triple captain because we might get double Haaland. However, this season is a little bit different, whereas years gone by, we've had COVID, we've had all the crazy stuff where we've had loads and loads of double and blank game weeks. We're not getting that this year, fingers crossed. So we're in a situation where triple captain on a single game week might actually be the way to go. So I'm not against anybody putting the triple captain on Haaland if they want to go down that route. Charlie, hope you're doing well, buddy. Foden or Alvarez, if I had to buy one, obviously it depends who you're selling, both in different positions. So it is worth noting, hard for me to get an understanding on the value of the transfer that you're making, but I probably would lean towards Foden. I think he is the man to own. Animations, hope you're doing well, mate. Alex, I've covered that question. Saliba or Stupinan? I would go with Stupinan because he offers both attacking potential and I wouldn't really say clean sheet potential, just attacking potential. Tudor David is saying Gusto or Stupinan or cash for game week 4. Please respond. Is this to buy? If it's to buy, my one worry of Gusto is that Reece James looks like he will be back after the international break. That's worry for game time because some people are saying Reece James might not play. He's the club captain. He is going to play once he is back, fitness dependent. A Stupinan or cash to buy right now? I think a Stupinan's the safer bet for minutes. Cash is the more exciting one in this Aston Villa team. To buy, I probably still would buy a Stupinan, even though the fixture this week's dodgy. In terms of starting this week, I would start Gusto. Sam, yes, I will be going live on TikTok at around 5:15, 5:20. I want to do a 1 hour YouTube live right now to answer all your questions because I appreciate there are so many unbelievable content creators out there doing their thing up until the deadline. This is a great opportunity for you guys to jump in the chat, jump off, and maybe go watch someone who's a bit more interested than myself. But this is just your chance to kind of ask the questions. Now, I do apologize. I kind of done this live stream thinking there wouldn't be many questions, but there's a lot in here. So I'm going to try and get through them. But I do, holy moly, I'm dying. I do apologize if I miss your question. Just obviously a bit more busier than I thought it would be, being a deadline. And you guys are absolutely teasing me. I said 50 likes for the stream would be an amazing achievement. And we're at 48. Come on, is there a kind soul out there that will get us past the 50 likes? It will be massively appreciated. Right. The poll that I put out, best midfielder to buy, 69% of you are currently gone for Maddison, 14 on Sterling, 9 on Foden. And honestly, if I said to you right now, who is going to get the most points this game week, I had to bet it would be on Foden. But it's the long-term factor that we need to remember from a transfer. And then Buemo at 8%. So some interesting picks. Right. I'm rambling. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get over to my team. Because sometimes I have to just put ego aside and think to myself, you're probably not here for my dead chat. You're probably here for my team. So let's just show you what you probably want to see. No, I'm joking, but realistically, please don't leave me. Right, so transfer. Transfer. Here we go. Just going to move myself a little bit to the side. Ta-da. So this is how my squad's looking. I can't be bothered to do the unveil really slowly. That just is pointless for you guys. So this is how the team's looking. I've made one free transfer. Let's go straight into that. I have sold Martinelli. Now, can I just say something about Martinelli? And I want to kind of almost look back at this when he does get his hat-trick. What a time to play Man United right now. Injuries galore in the defence. Midfield looks woeful. Honestly, Arsenal could absolutely roast them this week and Martinelli could have a field day. The reason why I sold him, I'm not looking at this transfer as a 1 week transfer. I'm looking at this as maybe between now and game week 8. And over that period, the player that I've brought in Maddison, do I think he plays considerably more time? Yes. Do I think he gets more points? Yes. Is that because he's getting more minutes? Possibly. But that very reason there is enough for me to justify the transfer. Now, Martinelli is a great pick. We had this last season where we thought Trossard was going to come into the team. He didn't, and he continued to play, and he rinsed us, and he was amazing. I think it's slightly different this season. I do think Trossard is going to share minutes from time to time, and what I've seen in the underlying numbers from Martinelli in the opening game weeks isn't good. And when we have some of these amazing options who are cheaper in Maddison, in Foden, in Sterling, I think it is just right to pull the trigger and get it done because we still have the investment in Saka in the Arsenal attack. For me, he is the sacrificial lamb in this team because I need to get a little bit of these inform midfielders, quote unquote inform. I hate saying inform when it's only been 3 game weeks worth of information. So Martinelli to Maddison is done with one of my free transfers. I have 1.7 million in the bank and 1 free transfer remaining. So quick talk on Maddison, why I picked him. Maddison's going to get guaranteed game time. That's absolutely right. And the 3 players that I thought were up for debate is Maddison, Foden, and Sterling. So Foden, for me, I think will score the most points in this game week, 100%. This fixture, honestly, I think could be 6-0 Man City, and it could be hat-trick potential for Foden. So if you're looking for him in a 1-week perspective, Foden is your man. Just get it done. I think he starts. I think he hauls. He is the man. Longer term, I think it becomes a decision between Sterling and Maddison. Now, I already have Nicholas Jackson in my team. And what I see with the Chelsea team is they are not got many goal scorers. It's either going to be Jackson, Chilwell, Sterling, maybe Gallagher if he finds his feet. So those are all the players that are going to score for Chelsea. So it screams out, maybe just buy Sterling. But for me, there's uncertainty right now with Chelsea. Do they revert back to a back 4 once Pochettino gets all of his players available? Does that then make him a little bit of a lesser option? Because we saw him play alongside Nicholas Jackson, but I'm not convinced that the back 3 is the way Pochettino wants to play for Chelsea. So let's say we stumble after the international break. They go to a back 4. Enzo and Caicedo as a double pivot. Gallagher in the 10. Sterling off the right. Off the left, Mudryk, and Jackson down the middle. We don't know whether that is actually going to be good or bad for Raheem Sterling. What I absolutely do know is that the team sheet for Spurs is going to have James Maddison in a midfield 3 alongside Sarr and Basuma, with plenty of attacking players around him, relying on him to be the creative force in every single minute of every single game. And what I love about Maddison as well is that even if he has a terrible game, even if Spurs play horrendous, he has corners, he has indirect free kicks, he has direct free kicks. So he could get a haul and play terribly. And that is something that I don't think Raheem Sterling can do. So for that very reason, Maddison has entered the team. Not on a 1-week basis, on a 4-week basis, where I think he will pay dividends. Now, Gabriel is still in the bloody team. Look at him, sneaking in there. I can't even point my finger that far, can I? No, sneaking in there as my second sub. So you're probably wondering, Nacho, just pull the trigger, get it done. Nobody excites me as an alternative. Absolutely nobody. The 3 options I have in my mind is this. Rico Henry to get the home fixture against Bournemouth, who I actually rate Bournemouth, I can't lie. I don't necessarily think that's a guaranteed clean sheet. And in my head, am I creating this scenario where Henry gets loads of goals and assists? Because he doesn't. He just doesn't. So Henry is an option, rightly so, because of the fixtures. Next up, the Man City defence. Do I want to pay 5.5 for Ruben Diaz to get either 6 or 2 points? I don't really know if I do. And he's the only one that I would actually touch in that Man City defence. I think the rest are just a minefield of minutes. I just can't predict them. And the other option is I pay 6.5 million for Trippier. But it just feels wrong doing it this game week for Trippier, knowing that he's away against Brighton. Solid chance he concedes because Botman's out. And it feels like to myself, do I just let Gabriel's price fall once again? It's not nice. Nobody likes a player falling in price. But from what I know historically is that prices start to slow down during the international break. So what will happen is this. Gabriel will probably fall in price in the next day or two. Then he'll sit there at 4.7 million throughout the entire international break. And then it will accelerate once people actually wake up and realise there's another deadline in 2 weeks' time. So worst case scenario, I got Gabriel at 4.7 million. I got 2 free transfers off the back of an international break where injuries can happen. We know the teams and the full signings because anything can happen after this deadline in FPL terms. And I come into the luxury of 2 free transfers. And then I look to sell Gabriel for a player of my choice. This game week in isolation, I think Man City do keep a clean sheet. So I could get Diaz, get myself a guaranteed clean sheet. Could get Henry, could get me a clean sheet. But realistically, Estupiñán can easily get attacking returns in this game against Newcastle. So the big thing for me is there any real benefit in selling Gabriel this week? And my answer right now is no. So controversially, I'm planning on maybe just sticking with this team and rolling my second free transfer into game week 5 and give myself the luxury of 2 free transfers to go in any direction that I want to with this team. So that's enough rambling from me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments regarding my own team. I'm going to be a little bit selfish here, and I'm going to ask you guys because I value your opinion. I'm going to start a poll and say, what would you do? What would you do? What would would you do? And I see the questions coming in the chat. That was the only bit of long-term rambling I was going to do in this stream, so I do apologise. I will be getting back to the questions now. But what would you do with my team? And let me know, guys, because I honestly do really rate you guys. There's some top managers in the chat right now. So first option is we roll the free transfer, which I'm currently intending to do. Next option is Gabriel to Trippier. And it's worth noting, I'm only putting Gabriel alternatives because I don't consider any other player a sell in my team. Gabriel to Trippier, Gabriel to Diaz, or Gabriel to Henry. Let me know in that poll what you do with my current team right now. I'll be really interested to know. Enough rambling from me. I'm going to let that go for 5 minutes, that poll, and I'm going to come back to your questions because I'm missing a lot. So let's get cracking. Kim saying, McAllister to Foden for a -4. I love it in this game week in isolation, but is it really going to pay itself off? Probably not. So I'm probably going to say to you here, just play McAllister, unfortunately, because a -4 is very hard to pay off in one game week. I don't mind it if you can view it over a long-term perspective, but Foden's minutes, so hard to predict long-term. Jim Bob, start Cash, Stupinan, or Baldock. I don't know the situation on Baldock, because it sounds like there is a chance he might leave, but I probably view it as Baldock either starts or he gets 0 minutes. So I'd probably start Baldock, a Stupinan first bench, Cash second bench in my eyes. Son as a differential or captain safe, I would go for Maddison as the safe option for sure. Hi mate, worth doing Watkins to Jackson? No. With Van Dijk and Konate's injuries, I actually think Watkins is a fantastic differential this week. I wouldn't pull the trigger on that one. Daniel, I've covered that one. Anyone that I've covered, I'm going to skip by, guys, just so I can get through it. Max, great content, mate. Love it. Thank you so much, buddy. Should I keep Areola or sell him? Absolutely keep him. 4 million for a starting goalkeeper in a West Ham team that are made up of tree trunks? What I mean by that is there's got absolutely units in that team. They died to keep a clean sheet. So, no, keep Areola 100%. It's who I wish I had right now. Sterling in for Matoma for a -4? No, don't like it for a -4 at all. Rashford and Odegaard out for Maddison and Sterling. Thoughts? Oof. If you have Bruno and Saka, and these are 2 free transfers, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Should I remove Matoma? Covered that one off. Start Basuma or I can tell your name's Spurs fan here. Start Basuma or Diaby, my friend. Diaby. No contest. Sterling and Mbeumo. Ooh. Penalties for Mbeumo. We don't know if Sterling's got penalties. Fixtures easier for Chelsea, one would argue. Mate, to be honest with you, got to try and start both. If I had to pick one, it probably would be Sterling. It probably would just be Sterling. Start Nicholas Jackson or Luis Diaz. I probably would go for Nicholas Jackson myself. Frank saying, should I do Martinelli to Maddison? Should I do Martinelli to Maddison, Gabriel to Trippier, and Hernandez to Sanchez for a -4 point here? I'm not big on the Sanchez goalkeeper, to be honest with you, mate. Not big on that one at all. I think it blocks you from having 3 Chelsea options later down the line. Zombie, you're interested? Thank you very much. Jana, should I keep Ariel? Covered that one off. Sorry, guys, I'm just rambling through all of the chat here. Has anyone ever copied my team? Yeah, I think probably have from time to time. Like I said, that 1 year where I got 270th in the world 2 years ago, that probably was the time that you should have copied me. Gabriel or Pedro out first? Depends how much money you have available to you to bring in other options. If you have the money available to do Pedro to a Nicholas Jackson, then I'd probably say that is the route I'll go for because the upside feels a little bit better. Sidwan saying, your content has been brilliant, mate, hence why there are so many comments and likes, both. Thank you so much, buddy, for that. That is great to hear. That is offering some value. Liam, we're at 87 likes. Yeah, sick. There were 87 likes. If we can get to 100, that'd be absolutely awesome. Should I start Watkins or Stupinan? I'd actually lean towards Watkins myself. I think there's a good opportunity for him against Liverpool this week. Onana or Turner? Honestly, I think both concede. So it's all about who racks up the most saves. I probably would lean towards Because I think both concede, I probably would just say to you go Onana because he's the most expensive goalkeeper of the two. And if he does rack up a monster haul, you're going to be sat there thinking, why do I own a 5 million goalkeeper? I'm not going to start him week in, week out. But I think both concede. Just make sure I haven't missed major bits, guys. Sorry. Safe, I can see your chat, buddy. Make sure you don't spam it. Should I start Watkins or Stupidan? As I said, I will start Watkins myself. Onana or Turner, I've covered that. Edison for Pickford. If you can afford it, and that is a luxury transfer, worth noting, don't mind it at all. Really do like it, but it's a luxury move nonetheless. Rashford or Matters to buy? I'd probably go Madison right now. Who should I bench between Rashford, Richarlison, and Odegaard? Probably would lean towards Richarlison. Richarlison, definitely, because I think his minutes are a risk. CCW, yeah, I got Bruno and they're both free transfers. Nice one for that. No worries at all. Aaron, is it worth taking a hit for Pedro to Vissa and Gabriel to Udogie? I do like it. Both rotation risks. Do I like it for a hit? Probably not. So could you maybe just do one of them for this week and then save the other one? Eddie asking about when I'll make my final transfer. Don't even know if we're going to make one, to be honest with you. But as I said, I'm going to be running this up until around 5:30. So if you are interested in my final team, I will be then doing a TikTok live between 5:30 and 6:30. So that's where we'll have my updated team. So, and again, I update everybody over my Patreon. Link is in the bio if you do want to check that out. That's where I stay up to date with everyone, answering one-to-one questions over on there. So just to give you an update on what people have been voting on my own team. 33% are telling me to do Gabriel to Henry. 24% are saying roll the free transfer. 24% saying Gabriel to Diaz. 20% saying Gabriel to Trippier. It's not helping massively, to be honest with you. So maybe Henry is the way. Maybe Henry is the way. I see a lot of duplicate questions here, so I'm just trying not to go through them. Keep Eze or get Madison or Sterling. Honestly, I think Eze is an unbelievable differential this week if you want to go down that route. I get the temptation to go to Madison and Sterling, and if you want to go there, I've gone for Madison myself, but I probably would have Eze as one of those that I wouldn't sell myself. At home against Wolves, what a great opportunity. Jackson or Alvarez? Sounds like Alvarez is going to start this week, so I really like Alvarez's upside. Long term, though, I prefer Jackson because his minutes are a lot more easier to say they're going to be consistent. Start Colwell or Stupinan? I would probably start Colwell with the assumption that he either starts or he gets 0 minutes off the back of him limping off in that Carabao Cup game. So while we're chatting here, let me get another slide up here, which is just going to be like the defense difficulty. This is taken from Fantasy Football Fix, by the way. What a top site. Just shout out to those guys. So just give you an idea here on between now and when I plan to wildcard in game week 9, which teams have the best fixtures from a defensive perspective. And you can see here that Everton top the charts, but realistically we ain't touching those. And if I'm talking selfishly right now, Chelsea, I already have Chilwell. I don't want to double up on the defence. Spurs, I already have your doggy. Fulham now don't have Polinia, so I'm not touching Fulham. Palace, they're okay. Wolves at home, Fulham at home in 6, Forest at home in 8. Maybe that is the route to go for, but I don't get excited by Palace options. Luton already have Kabore. So it comes down to Brentford, who have a great game week 4, great game week 6, great game week 7 as well. Or we go for Newcastle, knowing that beyond game week 5, the fixtures are good. Sheffield United away, Burnley at home in 7. But would you argue Brentford at home's easy or West Ham away's easy? Probably not. So they could be a little bit trickier than what they seem on paper. And then we've got Man City. And in the day, if you're bringing a Man City defender, regardless of the fixture, you are starting them in their fixture. And I do ask myself, is just doing Gabriel to Diaz boring as hell, but just the right move? As I said, I need 5 game weeks worth of fixtures from these players. Now, I'm starting to stupid on this game week, but maybe the route to go for, because we don't need cash in the game, guys. Honestly, all of the big boys are cheap. They're all cheap and we can afford them all pretty much. So maybe just doing the move to Ruben Diaz while it is boring, while it is a little bit Yawnsville, It's just the right route. Let's say I get the guaranteed clean sheet in game week 4. We play them away against West Ham, assume they dominate possession, and West Ham can't affect them on the counter. Then have game week 6 at home against Forest, away against Wolves in game week 7, and then probably go for a 1-week punt in game week 8 by selling Ruben Diaz. So maybe Diaz is just the option, but it just seems so damn boring, unfortunately. That's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about with Ruben Diaz in the team. But that's why I've come to the conclusion of the 3 players that I discussed, because I feel like I have investment in all the others, or the other ones I'm not really interested in. And those 3 at the bottom there kind of seem like the obvious picks for both the team that they play for and also the guaranteed minutes that they do offer. Alex is saying, start Kabore or Colwell. Weird one, but I could see Colwell being benched after injury scare. Plus, it's seen as 6 points realistically, where Kabore could actually haul. Yeah, so I probably would say that Colwell probably either starts or he gets 0 minutes, because I don't really see a situation where he comes off the bench unless they're holding on for a lead. But he probably just starts if he was available. I don't think they take the risk of bringing him on as a sub with a slight knock. So maybe just start Colwell and have Kabore first sub. But if you don't want to take that risk, I think Kabore is actually quite a nice differential this week. But the assumption is that West Ham are going to be stronger this year than what we saw last year, even though they have sold Declan Rice. Start Martinelli or Stupinan. I think if you're holding on to Martinelli, you play him. Otherwise, you sell him. I think it's one of those situations. If you're happily willing to bench Martinelli, just get rid of him. His time's up in your team if you're not starting him in any fixture. Luis Diaz, I'm a big fan of Luis Diaz, but would I go there? Probably not myself. Again, guys, if you can, drop a like on the stream. It'd be massively appreciated. We're at 108, which I actually think is like a record for the channel. So I just have to say thank you so much to you guys for obviously doing that. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, be amazing if you can. We're currently about 9,400. Kind of had a bit of a goal to get to 9,500 before the game week 4 deadline. Like, if we can get there and you're not a subscriber of the channel, that would honestly be massively appreciated. If you enjoy content, new content creators, maybe this is the one for you, even though there are some unbelievable ones out there. Hopefully I can provide a little bit of different value to you, which maybe you haven't had already this season. So again, if you can drop a subscription, it'd be amazing. Foden in for Rashford. Not huge on it, but it's a luxury transfer. But if you want to pull the trigger, I don't mind it. But I just think long term, you're at a little bit of a risk in terms of actually going for long term returns. Foden or Alvarez, Foden for me is the route to go for. And again, guys, let me get another poll up a minute just so you can get a little bit of a thought process here. If you were to buy a... Let me know in the chat on this one, guys. Best Man City option. Is it Foden? Or is it Alvarez? Or is it... Nah, that's probably it. Henry or Digne to start this week? Henry, absolutely. If I was buying one, I still would go Henry. Shall I get Darwin? I would love for you to get Darwin, but realistically, I just can't really justify because of the minutes risk that he is. He should say 1 free transfer. Maddison for Odegaard. Confirmed. Take a hit for Ruben for Gabriel. Don't really like it for a hit. However, if your bench is in a situation where you can't really support not having Gabriel, so for example, if you are in a situation you're almost having to play Gabriel because your other defenders are bad, then I think it does pay off as a -4 because you are getting a benefit of starting Diaz this week. Love Jarlis is saying start Bruno or Jackson. Honestly, I think you need to find a situation to start both of those. I'll be really interested to know what your team actually looks like. George is saying start Stupinan or Bulldog? Probably Bulldog, but it's very close between the two. Do I think Pickford Edison's worth it? Only if you're in a situation where you have no other fires in your team, you simply are looking for a transfer to make, then I don't mind it. I'm just going to put my team back up here for anyone that has joined the stream recently. Thank you so much for getting involved. I've made a transfer. And I have done Martinelli to Maddison, really just a double down on what I'm feeling good about Spurs with right now. And I think anything that's good that's going to happen with Spurs is going to come through James Maddison. Not to say that Sterling, Foden and all aren't fantastic options, because they really are. Thoughts on Alvarez? You know you're taking a risk with him, but I think he's a great option nonetheless. And he started most games, to be honest with you. What Man City defenders should I use? Realistically, for me, the only one I would go for is Ruben Diaz right now, but it is the most expensive. It is worth noting. Like I say, 70% of you have voted for Foden so far between Foden and Alvarez. Connor saying Joachim Anderson, really do like him. Bonus point Magna, I think he is a great option. I just don't get excited about Crystal Palace myself. But they are a tough cookie to crack. It is worth noting. Defensively, they're pretty sound. Thoughts on Gabriel Jesus to play? I think both teams are going to force their number 9s to play. It sounds like Højlund is available for Man United. And I think if Arteta knows that Gabriel can play, he will start him. I think he needs to get back to what he had last season. He needs to get Ben White back at right back. He needs to get that kind of fluency and structure in the team as quick as possible. And I think Gabriel Jesus will return into the team. Would I buy him? Absolutely not. Spurs fans are saying, I've just remembered I have a Stupinan, so start Diaby, a Stupinan, or both. I would start Diaby over a Stupinan myself. I think there is some real opportunity for Aston Villa attackers with no Kanati and Van Dijk in the team. Vamp FN saying, sub bro, thank you so much, buddy. Luis Diaz or Maddison? Maddison for me. The game time is absolutely locked in with Maddison. And as I said, on corners, on indirect free kicks, on direct free kicks, everything good is going through James Maddison. And interestingly, he put up like 2.58 shots in the box per 90 so far. So it isn't like he's been a long shot merchant. He's actually getting opportunities in the box, which is really big. He's almost playing as a twin forward at times. Not the kind of Leicester sort of situation until we saw at the back end where he was being really pressed high. I like Maddison. I really like Maddison. I think he ticks so many boxes. The only box he doesn't really tick is that explosive asset. That guy who is going to, as I said, I expect Phil Foden to be the highest point scorer of all the midfielders this game week. And that is a fantastic question to ask. Let me get in here. Let's get in here. Who will score more points in game week 4? So we're going to have Foden, who by the way is my pick here. Maddison. Again, this is just for one game week. We're not talking about long term. We're just talking about game week 4. Raheem the Dream. We're just going to put those 3 bad boys. They're in. Let me know who you think is going to score more points in game week 4. Foden, Maddison, or Raheem Sterling. I think Foden's going off this week, honestly. I think he's absolutely going off. Edison or Areola? Edison every day of the week. If you own Edison, you have to play him in every single fixture to justify the 5.5 million that you are paying. Cash or a Stupinan to buy? Still like a Stupinan. I still like a Stupinan. Even though I don't like him defensively. I think he offers such great value. Onana or Pickford, mate? Madrid fans asking. To start this week, do I think Man United concede? Yes, I am very certain they concede. Do I think Everton concede? I would like to say no, but they probably will. Mate, realistically, I probably would go Pickford. But we know that they will find a way to screw us over. Jelly Spoon, what a great name. Unless it's like a weird name, I didn't realise. I have Maddison, Foden, Saka, and Mbeumo, and Sterling. Should I start Visser or Jackson this week? Jackson. You've got to double down on Nottingham Forest fixture. Jackson every day of the week. He is your pick. Visser is a 70-minute man. That is the big factor there we need to remember. What are these emojis, Lionhearts? They are sick. Luis Diaz or Maddison? Maddison. Do I think Luis Diaz can outscore Maddison? Absolutely. He is one of those real kind of players that could go off with a big score. But for me, Maddison is the one, especially if you're looking a bit more longer term with your teams. That's the route that I would go for. What do I swap Bowen with next week? Diaby, because we've got the international break, I don't mean to be rude, we'll address that in next week's stream, just because so much can happen between now and next game week. So I do apologise, but I'm going to struggle to answer. Oh my God. That's God there doing that to me. We'll deal with that when we get to it, just because so much could happen with international break cropping up. Do I get rid of Odegaard, Diaz or Gabriel? Naturally, I am going to tell you Gabriel because his minutes are so at risk. But from an upside point, obviously bringing in an attacker is a bit more exciting. So Odegaard, I'd probably sell before Diaz, probably. Spurs fan. Okay, so you're asking, would you bench Trent or a stupid answer? So my rule is this. If you're paying 8 million for a defender, you have to start them in every single fixture. So Trent. Trent could have Man City away. I would still answer that with Trent. That is just the way I view FPL players. If you're paying that kind of sum of money, they need to be fixture proof. That's kind of the reason why they are there. So that's why Salah is his price, because we deem him as a fixture proof player, the same as Haaland, and the same should apply to Trent. Otherwise, at 8 million, it's just criminal benching him in any fixture, really. Polino deal didn't go through. Is that right? Is that right? If that's the case, sell all your Man City players right now. No, I'm joking. Obviously, I'm joking. Is that right? Hang on a minute. You know who will tell us? Fabrizio Romano. He is our man. Right, so, wow, what? João Polino completed 2 rounds of physical medical tests, took pictures in Bayern shirt, but deal is currently collapsing. Wow. But realistically, is he going to play this weekend? No. Like, he's not, is he? Okay, right, let's get cracking with the questions, because I'm probably going to go for another 10 minutes, guys, and then I'm going to go over on TikTok Live. So, again, guys, I've just seen there's a lot of spamming in the chat. Please do try and keep it to 1 or 2 questions tops, just because it's a difficult job for the legends who are the moderators here to keep on top of things. So please do just be a little bit appreciative of others in the chat, and we don't rinse it. I do apologise, but I can't lie. How sick are these emojis in the chat? They're awesome. Foden in for Rashford. I've also got Bruno. I just don't love it. I'm just not huge on it. I think Foden could absolutely bang this week, but I just wouldn't really justify doing it myself. You got to be really bullish on Foden to make that move. The reason why I'm saying that is because if Højlund plays, we've got Rashford back in his position on the left, which we know is the route that we want him to play. So I like him off the left. If we didn't have that kind of like thing and he was playing as a number 9, then I would be a little bit more worried about it. Immortal Technique, hope you're doing well, buddy. Legend, of course. Sterling or Maddison? Sterling's fixtures in the long run seem better. Yeah, so I've gone for Maddison. I've covered it a lot in previous videos. I don't really want to go too much into detail just because I know we're running out of time a little bit. But I've gone for Maddison because, as I said, on direct free kicks, indirect free kicks, corners, going to play 100 minutes because games basically play 100 minutes now. Spurs' fixture in the next 2 are great. Burnley away and Sheffield United at home. I think there's a real opportunity for some hauls there for Maddison. Sterling, I'm a little bit worried about when Chelsea go back to a back 4, how that influences Sterling as an option in the longer term. But this game week in isolation, if I honestly had to go for who's going to score the most points in game week 4, controversially, I would say Foden 1, Sterling 2, Maddison 3. But as I said, I am planning on looking more longer term with the transfer rather than short term, because I think that's the way we need to look at it. And again, thank you to the moderators in the chat for obviously going through all this spam. I really do appreciate you guys. Should I start Gavardiel or Stupinan? Well, there's a lot of team lineups going around right now that Gavardiel isn't in the team. So take that with a pinch of salt. I probably would start a Stupinan with these rumours going around though myself. João Pedro or Archer to start? I'd probably go for Archer and hope that he just gets a debut straight out the bat. Connor, why didn't you bring in Rico Henry? I haven't made any decision yet. Let me just tell you why I'm currently considering keeping Gabriel. I'm not really big on any defender right now. And we got the international break, and a lot can happen in the international break. So maybe we get a situation where injuries arise, and I'm going into it with 2 free transfers, knowing that I can go in any direction with my team. I don't really know if I made Rico Henry my transfer a week later or a game week later, I'd actually want that to be a Newcastle player. And all of a sudden, I'm in a really sticky position where I'm like, oh, I kind of wish that was a Newcastle defender, but now I've bought him, I can't really justify selling him. I don't really have that bit in my stomach right now to go, yes, I want that guy. And I always kind of want that feeling when I'm making a transfer, and I just don't have it right now in that move. So that's the reason why I haven't done it. Shall I put Beto in my team? No. I would give it a while to see if he actually is up to scratch in that Everton team and if he is actually Premier League quality or not. Currently planning on selling Gabriel, potentially, but as I said, right now I am rolling the transfer. I know it's controversial, but what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Gabriel drops by 0.1. I've already lost 0.2 value in him. It's just kind of one of those really where maybe I just let its price fall one more to get a bit more idea of what direction I want to take my team in, because I don't really know right now. Right, so we're going to go for another 3 minutes in here. So I'll try and answer as many questions as possible. As always, Super Chat is turned on. So if you are desperate for your question to be answered, you can obviously go down that route. But I'm going to try and answer as many as I can in the next 3 minutes. And then I'm going to be going live over on TikTok live up until the deadline. So if you're here from TikTok, I will be over there very, very soon. So make sure you do head over to there. And once again, if you can drop a like on the stream, it's massively appreciated. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, because I know about 80% who watch my videos aren't subscribed, it'll be amazing to have you on board this year as a subscriber. Hopefully this will provide a little bit of value, and the content has so far this year as well. So make sure if you're not a subscriber, you do get involved. Right, let us, what was I going to say? Answer some questions. Let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to start from Dylan. Should I take a -4 from Maddison to Rashford? No, I would not do that myself. Rashford, Bruno, Odegaard out, please. I would rank those as Bruno the priority to keep, then Rashford, then Odegaard. So on that basis, I would sell Odegaard. How come you still have Gabriel? I've kind of covered that one. Hopefully that helps. Rowan, hey Nacho, have you only made 1 transfer? I thought you were also getting Henry for Gabriel. I've just joined, so no idea what I've missed. Yes, so Rowan definitely made the move Martinelli to Maddison. I'm deliberating who I'd actually want to sell Gabriel to, or maybe just roll my free transfer because I'm happy with that 11. I think a Stupinan could easily get attacking returns in that fixture, especially with Botman out. Newcastle aren't going to be sound defensively. Aiden, Jackson or Iwoni? I have Sterling starting as well. Jackson, absolutely. You have to start Jackson in that team. Start Cash or a Stupinan? I probably would start a Stupinan myself. Ariel or Flecken? I would start Flecken absolutely this week. Starting Ketty or Eze? Eze, absolutely Eze on that one. That's an easy one. If Palmer does well, does he become an option instead of Manu midfielder? No. Palmer would have to do a lot to justify starting in this Chelsea team right now, so I would avoid Palmer as an FPL option. Ariel or Flecken to start? I would start Flecken. I've covered that one. Which 2 to start out of? Stupinan, Martinelli and Baldock? I would start... So if you're in a position where you're actually going to keep Martinelli, then you have to start him to justify keeping him. So I would start Martinelli, and I think Baldock either starts or he doesn't get any minutes, so I probably would go for Baldock controversially and just hope that it's a horrible 0-0 game or something, or maybe he scores a bullet header. Right. I said I was going to go to 20 past, and I think we're going to wrap it up there. So all I can say is thank you so much for tuning into this live stream. You guys are honestly being absolute legends in the chat, asking them away. Now, there are so many amazing content creators out there, so make sure you do go check out their live stream right now. As I said, I'm going to be going live on TikTok for the next hour, so make sure you head over to there. If you are right now coming over from my TikTok, that is the place to be. Go jump on some other content creators stream. There's some great ones out there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and have a fantastic game week. Cheers, guys.